It's all like one big playground, and it all belongs to this 90-year-old man.
There's a world of history in there. How much time you want to spend is my time. I'm glad to do it.
Oscar Cook has been collecting these items for more than a quarter century, and he has a story for every toy.
And on a Ford, if you push too much down on the clutch, then it goes in low gear. And I bumped his back wagon. We just barely touched it. He piles off that wagon. How old is that kid? He had no business driving that car. My mother said, why don't you just get that wagon out of our way? That's all there was to it.
Many of the items in Oscar's collections are one of a kind. They're priceless.
The only thing that'll ever go out here is what somebody steals. And that's happened.
90 years old, and his clock is still ticking.
It's right and left. Right and left. Right and left. Right and left. Now, that's it.
Oscar himself is a living history book, and wherever he turns, he runs into people who love him.
Look up. And if you keep looking up, you're going to go places. But if you go to looking down, there's nothing there but ground. Really. You're the guys got to take care of this country. I'm getting too tired. I'm almost 90. You've got to do it for me. Right?
In Billings, I'm Laura Hendrickson reporting for the news station.
Welcome to Cookeville, Montana, population 3. This is typical of what a town main street looked like around the turn of the century. On the right is the general store. The church is seen in the distance, and in the foreground is the bank. The jail is all steel with riveted construction. It came from Lusk, Wyoming. The mayor's house is the light yellow building. The general store came from Nibby, which is about 40 miles east of here. The Ford garage is complete with Model T cars inside. There are 3 display buildings, a red, white, and blue one, with 2 acres under a roof. Alongside of the white building are about 25 steam engines on display. They were made by Case, Russell, Frick, Advance, Huber, Nichols and Shepard, Minneapolis, and more. Inside the red building are gas kerosene tractors on display. They were made by Huber, Advance, Rumley, Altman Taylor, and so forth. Inside the white building are cars, wagons, a thrashing machine, a water well drilling rig that was used in filming of Far and Away, a seat collection, a rear-end junior airplane, and many stationary engines. This is one of the first oil well drilling rigs in Montana. It was set up south of Laurel between Rockvale and Joliet. They started drilling for oil and instead hit artesian mineral water. It was decided to stop further drilling and build a health resort which was called Mount Aqua. It remained active for many years until the Yellowstone Park earthquake of 1959 stopped the flow of water. The resort then closed down. Plows like these were used to break up the prairie sod. These plows ranged in size up to 10 bottoms and were built by Case, Avery, P&O, and Cockshut. Windmills like these were used to pump water on the prairies. The tallest one is 110 feet tall. It came from Kansas near the spot where Newt Rockne, a famous Notre Dame football coach, died in a plane crash many years ago. This Corliss-type steam engine came from the sugar factory in Billings. It was built by the Minneapolis Steel and Machinery Company and commonly called the Twin City. It was a single-cylinder engine which has a bore of 3 foot and a stroke of 4 feet. It developed 1,125 horsepower. This rotating mug came from the Frost Top Drive-In in Billings Heights. It served as a landmark to many local Billings people for many years. This sign was originally on the Security Bank building in Billings. It now has Oscar's Dreamland sign on one side and still has the clock on the other side. Llamas are also on display at Dreamland. In about 1980, many of the steam engines and tractors were run and paraded at Dreamland. Shown here is an advanced steam engine. The Rumley Oil Pull Kerosene tractor shown here is rated at 30 drawbar horsepower and 60 belt horsepower, or commonly called a 3060. It came from Canada. This is a Rumley steam engine. It appears to have stopped on dead center. In the background is a return flue steam engine manufactured by Huber. It is rated at 30 drawbar horsepower. This two-cylinder Nichols and Shepard engine is rated at 2075. It was commonly called a plow engine. A Gar-Scott steam engine is followed by a Russell engine. This single-cylinder Rumley oil pull engine burns kerosene. It was rated at 1530 horsepower. Passing in front of the Rumley is a Reeves steam engine, followed by a Case steam engine rated at 45 horsepower. This engine is a Frick double-cylinder steam engine. Another big old kerosene tractor is this Altman Taylor. It was rated at 3060 horsepower. This is a Flower City 3570 tractor. This is a Flower City 3570 tractor. It came from Minnesota. This is another view of the 2575 Nichols and Shepard engine. It was a double-cylinder engine. This Alice Chalmer Model A is one of the workhorse tractors of Dreamland. Again, this is the Rumley Oil Pull 1530, followed by the Rumley Oil Pull 3060. This Pioneer tractor came from Chester, Montana. This Titan 3060 was manufactured by International Harvester Corporation. Notice the air-cooled starting motor just ahead of the crankshaft. This again is the 3060 Altman Taylor. Followed by the 3570 Flower City. It was built by Kinnard & Sons, manufacturing company of Minneapolis. This Rumley 1525 is one of the later lightweight series. This cross-motor case was rated at 4072. It was one of the larger cross-motor cases built. This 1/3 scale model of a Gar Scott was built by Bill Billings of Wellington, Sumner County in Kansas. Oscar's daughter, Marcy, also has her Montana Steam Traction Engineer's license. Here she is operating a Case steam engine very similar to the one Oscar's father used to have in Kansas just after the turn of the century. Oscar has a sawmill and shingle mill set up at Dreamland. Here he is demonstrating the shingle mill. The shingles are being sawed from the bottom of the block and fall to the ground. Here we see the sawmill in operation. Some of the buildings on Cookville Main Street were built with lumber sawed from this mill. This 1905 Case 25 horsepower skid engine powers this sawmill. An Avery thrashing machine is being used here to thrash the grain. This was a typical scene on the prairie in the early days. It is being run by a 2585 Nichols and Shepard steam engine. Here a Rosenthal corn husker shredder is being demonstrated. Bundles of corn stalks are fed into the machine, which separates the corn cobs from the stalks. The stalks are then chopped up and blown out the blower.
Tombrick is known to his friends as the man who can make anything run. A mechanical engineer at the Billings refinery, he also has a shop at home where his hobby is making things run. He especially enjoys working on steam engines. Dick, what kind of an engine do we have here?
This engine is a Nichols and Shepard steam traction engine. It was built in about 1917. It's very similar to the type that was used in the early days to plow sod on the prairies. This engine is owned by a local collector, a local farmer. He uses it in conjunction with his thrashing bee that he has every year. We come down here before the show. We wash out the boiler. We make sure all the pieces are in good running order and make sure it's ready for his show.
What does the engine use for fuel?
This engine is fired with wood railroad ties at the present time. It can also be fired with coal, or in some cases they were even fired with straw.
And why don't farmers use them anymore?
Well, as you can see, it's a big cumbersome rig. It takes about 2 hours to get the steam up. It takes probably 5, 6 people to run it, to haul water, to haul fuel, to run the plow and so forth. It's a lot different than we have today, where a farmer has a diesel tractor that he can jump on and in 5 minutes he can be going. But there are a lot of us that enjoy steam, and we enjoy playing with these old things. This steam engine is an 80 horsepower case. It came from Libby, Montana. One of the rarest steam engines at Dreamland is this Best road engine. It is rated 110 horsepower and has a speed of 2.5 to 3 miles per hour. It was built in San Leandro, California. This engine came from an ore mine in Utah where it pulled 6 wagons of ore 10 miles to market. It is believed to be the only Best road engine still in operating condition. There are only 3 or 4 others in existence. Notice the gentleman on the back of the engine. He's not hitchhiking, he is the fireman. This engine is fired with oil.
We didn't even start on this till January the 1st. And I want to thank everyone who sent in resumes on these people for induction to the Hall of Fame. We had quite a few of them, and it was kind of tough picking them out. And our first one tonight, I'm sorry to say, is Oscar Cook. And the reason I'm sorry to say it is Oscar just had a stroke here last week, and he's laying unconscious in Billings, Montana. So his daughter's here tonight to accept his plaque for him. Now, most of you people have heard of Oscar, talked to Oscar, and at least most of you know what he's done. But I'll just kind of do some highlights here for you. Oscar was born in Kansas. By the way, he's 93 years old. Will be 94 this year if he makes it. Back when he was about 16 years old, his father introduced him to custom thrashing. And the man custom thrashed for many, many years. And he was very instrumental in the development of the famous AC round baler that you still see going today. And Oscar was a big rancher, owned many ranches. He decided to take one ranch and make Oscar's Dreamland out of it. Oscar's restored over 30 steam engines, several hundred gas and kerosene tractors, some of them just one-of-a-kind tractors. He's got many, many gas engines. If you haven't been there, you should take a trip up to Oscar's Dreamland. The man's done quite a job. He spent most of his life being a collector. Thank God we had him with us for as long as we have, and I hope he can make it. I really do. The man deserves a little more time yet. Oscar started Dreamland well over 30 years ago, and like I say, all his life's been a collector. And if you'd ever been there, you could talk to him. He's got many, many stories to tell you about the old days all the way up to where it's at today. And I'd like to have Marcy, his daughter, step forward here so we can present her the plaque, and she'll give us a little talk on Oscar here. Marcy, I'd like to present this to you for your dad. Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry. My father was very pleased, very excited when he got the news from you about the National Gas and Steam Hall of Fame and that he had been selected to be in it. And I am very sorry that he can't be here himself. As Jerry said, he's quite ill. But I want to tell you, he's 94 already. Yeah, he was born, he always says he was born a year behind the year. He was born in 1901. Therefore, he never got everything done because he's always behind. I'm very fortunate to have a lady friend with me from Billings. She's been a dear, dear family friend since my parents moved next door to her when I was about 3 years old. And like myself, she's watched my dad's dream of saving America's agricultural past and turning it into something for many future generations to turn into reality. And that is Oscar's Dreamland. And thank you for having us. And anyone that gets up to Billings, we invite y'all to come out and see us. We'd love to show you around. Thanks.
A man who spent a good part of his life preserving history died this past weekend. Oscar Cook, who founded Oscar's Dreamland, passed away Saturday at age 94. Color's Christina Brown takes a look back at his life.
Oscar Cook fired his first steam engine on a Kansas farm when he was just 9 years old. He spent a good part of his 94 years preserving the antique farm machinery he so treasured. Cook created Oscar's Dreamland, an outdoor museum filled with pieces of history that would have otherwise been destroyed. Cook's daughter, Marcy, hopes her father will be remembered for the dreams he tried to fulfill.
You know, he's a dreamer that preserved, the person that cared, and he really cares about children. And he loves, the school groups are his favorite. When they would come out, he would always be here.
On the same day that Cook died, Marcy went to Oregon to accept an award on his behalf. He was the first person inducted into the National Steam and Gas Hall of Fame. Marcy says her dad knew he got the award before he died, and that made him very happy.
It was quite an honor to be the very first one into the new Hall of Fame, and he knew about it. He was excited for people that share a lot of his same dreams and visions to select him.
Marcy says her father's ashes will be placed inside this antique engine, one similar to the one he fired when he was just a boy. She says her family is planning on keeping Oscar's Dreamland open, so Oscar Cook's memory will live forever.
Yep, he's a dreamer whose dreams will never die. Yeah, we'll keep it forever.
Recently, an antique car club from California visited Oscar's Dreamland. All of these cars were built prior to the 1920s. Groups such as this are always welcome at Dreamland. We would like to thank you for visiting Oscar's Dreamland. As I have heard Oscar say many times, take your time going, but hurry back.